Hey, how are you guys? I hope you all are doing well on this beautiful day. My name is Daniel Victor Turanov. I am 18 years old, and I wanted to come on here today just to kind of tell you guys a little bit about myself, tell you guys about who I am as an actor, tell you guys a little bit about what I believe, tell you guys a little bit about what I think about acting, just a little bit of insight into who I am. But I was just sitting here, playing some guitar, doing some songwriting, some song singing, and it's such a beautiful day. I decided, why not record a video? But, let me put this away actually. As for who I am, I'll get into that a little bit, but as for some of the things I do, which I think make up a lot of who I am, I'm a big believer in getting into new hobbies. I think getting into new hobbies, getting into just new things, really expands you as a human being, and I've kind of dedicated these last, I'd say, 2 years into exploring who I am, exploring new hobbies like guitar, and it's paid a lot. It's paid a lot into who I am, and it's given me back a lot. But one of the main things that I do is I really believe in being extremely active. So I do MMA, I do kickboxing, I do boxing, I do jiu-jitsu, which I think has been honestly one of the most incredible spiritual pursuits that I could have ever embarked upon, and it's been just such an amazing journey. I also lift almost every single day, so I'm in the gym, I'm lifting some weights, and I also do long distance running, and long distance running is honestly so incredible for your mind, your body, just everything. It's hard to explain, but if you do long distance running, I'm sure you get it. I've done 2 half marathons, and I do plan on doing a full marathon by the end of this year, so I think that would be really cool. I'm also a big reader. I love reading books. I try to spend as much time as I can, not consuming social media, because I think a lot of people get stuck on that, but I try to read books. I just finished this really good one called The Man's Search for Meaning, which was pretty profound. I think it was a really good book. And I read recently The Alchemist, and also before that I read Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey, which was a great book. I recommend even listening to the audiobook version of that because it's Matthew McConaughey. But I'm a big writer too. I've gotten into writing, which has also been really fun, just kind of expressing yourself on paper. And kind of getting into it's a little bit iffy just because you don't know really what you're doing, but you get into it, you start writing some stories. It's just a lot of fun. I've written some small little short films. I've written some stories. I've written some poetry, and getting into that I think has really expanded me as a person too. I also would say I'm a pretty spiritual guy, so I'm pretty big into meditation, and I really do believe that meditating and getting good at meditation and like putting time into meditation also does make you a better actor too. Guitar has also been a really fun thing that I've gotten into, and just honestly incredible. Like putting time in and learning songs and performing songs and singing. I mean, it's a whole lot of fun. It's very rewarding, and I recommend, if you're not playing an instrument, I suggest you guys pick up an instrument. I've also gotten into chess recently, and chess is actually pretty fun too. Just makes your brain work over time, and yeah, chess has been pretty fun. But the reason I end up doing all these hobbies, and the reason that I try to get into as many new things as I possibly can, is to expand the soul. And I really do believe that the more that you do, and the more that you face challenges, and the more you are in an uncomfortable spot where you have to get out of your own comfort zone, I think that's where you grow as a person. And when you do start something new, you feel stupid. You feel stupid because you don't know what's going on. You don't know what you're doing. And you have to learn to be able to drop your own ego and to be foolish, to let yourself be stupid. to let yourself learn, to let yourself fail, and to really not care what anyone else thinks about that. And that's been one of the most important lessons that I think I've taken away recently, just from doing all of these hobbies. But I also do think that all of these hobbies and doing all these things makes you a better actor. And I do think that the more that you expand yourself as a human being, the more that you know who you are, that's how you become a better actor. I don't think acting comes from just, reading lines and trying to understand a character, but I think it comes from life experience and also just knowing who you are, just being able to take on challenges and facing yourself. And I think that's what makes really, really good actors, and that's what separates great actors from good actors. And as for how I got into acting, well, it's always been on the back of my mind ever since I was kind of a little kid. I've always been into performing. I think if you look my name up on YouTube, you'll find me dancing Michael Jackson. But I do come from a long line of incredibly talented, creative people. My mom, singer, songwriter, incredibly talented, dancer. She can do it all. And my grandma, she lived her entire life as a just incredible creative, as a poet, as a writer, as a singer. And I look up to her insanely. She lived her entire life in Israel. She was pretty famous doing singing, doing concerts. And that's the kind of life I want to live, and that's the kind of life I want to lead too. Maybe a little bit more successful than she ended up being, but I take a lot of inspiration from my mom, from my grandma, and my great-grandpa, who actually was also a incredibly talented musician. He could play every instrument, basically on a master level, but that's kind of where I get it from. I don't get it from just nowhere, but the idea in itself came into my mind to become an actor when I was about 17 years old, and I was laying in bed. I was sick, and I just got this brand new TV, and I turned on that 70s show. I was rewatching it, and I was watching it, and I was just like, this looks like so much fun. Going there and being on set and just making friends, and that just seemed like such an incredible job. And at the time I was working at Best Buy, and I was 17, so I was kind of coming up on the end of high school, thinking about, what is it that I want to do with my life? What is my purpose? What is it that I could see myself doing for the rest of my life? And I just decided that I might as well try and jump into the movies, right? And I was working at Best Buy as a salesman, and being a salesman, or at least I realized that being a salesman and being an actor is pretty much the exact same thing, in the sense that when you are selling, you are presenting to a customer, and you are pretending to not be the thing that you are. Because when you are a client, you don't want to feel like you're talking to a salesman. And the same goes for when you're an actor, is that you are performing to an audience, and the audience does not want to be watching you thinking that guy is very obviously reading lines and he is acting. And I was really good at sales, and I still am really good at sales, and I decided, you know what, acting seems like the coolest thing of all time, and I want to lead the creative life, so I decided to give it a shot. And I was really lucky to meet this guy at work, and he kind of directed me in the right direction, because he was in college doing film, and he directed me to this Facebook group, and from that Facebook group I ended up finding this little short film, and I got on there just as an extra. And it was just, I think this is universal for all people that have been on set, but it was just such a magnetic, incredible experience, because I went on there, no expectations, no idea of anything movie related even, and I get there and it's just lights and cameras, and it was really cool, because it was this really big mansion house too, and I just met some of the coolest people I'd ever met, and it was just such a interesting phenomenon, seeing like all of these people working towards one goal of making a good movie, and just, action, and then you go, and it was just like, wow, it was just insane. But after seeing that, after being in that, I decided that's it, that's what I gotta do for the rest of my life, and that's really how I've gotten into it, and it's been good to me so far. I've gotten about 7 or 8 movies now under my belt, and I just got my first feature film, so I'm really excited for that too. That'll be real fun to do. Gotta start filming that soon. But as for what I believe about acting in itself, I really do believe that acting is an incredibly beautiful and an incredibly spiritual art form. And I think that to be a good actor, you must know yourself extremely well. Because what acting is being able to express yourself through a different character and through a different lens. And not only does it take, skill to be able to read a script and understand who a different character is, but you must also understand where you stand with this character and how you can relate to this character as a human being. But also knowing yourself gives you an incredible power to be able to express yourself 110% without any sort of blockage. And I think that's one of the most incredible and one of the most important things that you can learn just in life and in acting. But it does remind me of a quote by Miyamoto Musashi, which says, "Once you see the way broadly, you can see it in all things." And I have found this to be incredibly true. And not only for acting, but for all things that I've gotten into, especially lifting, especially training, writing, just any of the things that I've gotten into, where it's the way to get good at anything is pretty much exactly the same. And I think that a lot of people don't end up getting very good at anything is because they do not understand that to get good at something, you have to be able to drop your ego, and you have to be able to get good at the basics in anything. Absolutely anything. You have to look stupid for a little bit, but you have to, if you want to get good at it, you have to drop the ego and you have to get good at the basics. And in acting, the basics are you. And you in acting is just knowing yourself. And I think you find out who you are by facing yourself relentlessly every single day through incredible willpower, through incredible discipline, and that's how you make anything in life happen. And I also do think that acting in itself is an incredible tool for life, and I have found that I see acting a little bit differently than I did before, 100%. Where we're all actors. You're at work, you're talking to your boss differently than you would normally, or someone tells you something upsetting, you act upset. Even if you are upset, that's how you act. And there are good actors and there are bad actors, and I think that being able to become a good actor is just an incredibly powerful tool for life in itself. Because it'll just help you direct conversations, it helps you just understand who you are, it helps you understand emotions better. And it's just an incredibly powerful tool, and I think that when I started looking at acting that way, it kind of changed things a lot for me, just in how I see it. But to talk about some of my long-term goals, obviously, I want to do movies. I want to do some TV shows, if that ever comes up. Obviously, that'd be pretty cool too. But some more feature films. I want to be able to move out to New York, and I think that's the plan here pretty soon. And if life pans out, then maybe an Oscar. Maybe an Oscar would be in the books. Obviously, a long way from there. got a long way to go, but I'd like to think that I do have what it takes. I'd like to think that I'm willing to work extremely, extremely hard, and I have the unbreakable will, and I have the discipline, and I have the skill set to hopefully make it happen, but fly. And it's weird to talk like this sometimes, but I do want to achieve greatness in my life, and I don't even know what greatness really is, but I know that I want to make an impact. I want to make a positive impact on the world. I want to show off my skill, and whatever greatness is for me in the future, that's what I want to achieve. But I want to live my life with adventure. I want to live my life with vigor, with vitality, and I want to be chasing something great, and I want to be working hard, and I want to be pushing myself to the limit, and I want to be just working 24/7 towards something incredible, towards something that will help people. And maybe acting isn't the last stop. Who knows? Who knows what the future holds, but I really do want to make, at least for right now, I want to make great films. I want to make movies that mean something to me. I want to do a whole lot of stuff, and I hope that I'll be able to do it. But you know, something else I do really believe is manifestation, and I really truly believe that we as human beings can achieve anything in life through our thoughts. I really do believe that if you think it and you can see it here, then you can manifest it into reality. And I really do believe that with ruthless discipline, and just having a belief in God, having an incredible belief in yourself, thinking positive thoughts 24/7, you can achieve absolutely anything. And I think the only limit is you. I think you are the only person that sets your own limit, and you can shatter that limit by just making a choice to shatter your own limit. But having a belief in God, having ruthless discipline, and putting in so much volume into your work that it would be absolutely unreasonable that you would ever fail. And that's the formula to get exactly what you want. Just put in so much work, outwork every single person, and that's it. I think that's all it really takes. I think it takes a lot of hard work, and I'm gonna work hard. I'm gonna work hard to make it happen, and I hope that in maybe 10, 15, 20 years time, I'll be able to look back on this video and be like, yeah, man, you did it. So I guess that's really kind of all I had to say. This video is a little long already, but listen, guys, thank you all for watching, and I'm gonna be posting more talking videos because this is pretty fun. I enjoy this, but thank you all for watching. Maybe you'll see me in some movies soon. Peace.